Before we begin, I need to say something important. What you're about to hear is not entertainment. It is not fiction. And it is not advice meant to replace therapy. This is a therapeutic narrative, shared with care, respect, and intention. The story you're about to listen to is based on real conversations that happen every day in psychologists' offices around the world. Details have been changed. Identifying information has been removed. The person you will hear cannot be recognized. This is done to fully protect privacy, dignity, and confidentiality. The foundation of ethical psychological work. I am a licensed psychologist. And what I'm sharing with you is not a diagnosis, not a judgment, and not a prescription. It is a human truth. People often imagine therapy as something dramatic. Tears, crisis, collapse. But most sessions don't start that way. Most begin quietly, with someone sitting down and saying something simple, something that sounds ordinary, until you hear what's underneath. This session began that way. A man came in for a consultation. He was not in acute distress. He was not seeking answers to a single problem. He came because something had settled inside him, a realization that wouldn't let him go. He said very calmly, "I don't think I'm here to fix anything. I think I'm here because I finally understand something, and I don't know what to do with it." That sentence alone told me a lot. People don't come to therapy only because they're broken. They come when clarity arrives, and clarity can be heavier than confusion. Before we went any further, I did what ethical practice requires. I explained the boundaries of the space, that this was a confidential consultation, that he was safe to speak freely, that nothing he shared would be used to identify him. And I also explained something else, something I want you to hear as well. Listening to someone else's life can awaken emotions in you. Memories, regret, fear, insight. If at any point you feel overwhelmed, it's okay to pause. Reflection should never come at the cost of your well-being. Then I asked him a question I often ask at the beginning of deep work. What made you decide to come today? Not earlier, not later, but now. He didn't answer right away. He looked at the floor. Then he looked at me. And he said, "Because I'm running out of time. And I think most people don't realize they are too." That moment changed the tone of the entire session. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was precise. He wasn't speaking about illness. He wasn't speaking about fear. He was speaking about awareness. In therapy, awareness is often the turning point. Not happiness. Not success. Not even healing. Awareness. The moment when someone sees their life clearly, without illusion, without defense. And that clarity can feel unsettling. I want to be very clear about something. What you're about to hear is not meant to tell you how to live. It is not meant to scare you. And it is not meant to shame you. It is meant to invite reflection. Because every person who sits in a therapy chair brings a version of the same question, even if they phrase it differently. Am I living in a way that actually belongs to me? This man did not come to ask how to be happier. He did not ask how to be more successful. He did not ask how to fix anyone else. He came because he realized something unsettling, that he had lived many years correctly, but not consciously. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. What you are about to hear is his perspective, filtered through a therapeutic lens. It is not a universal truth, but it is a common one. And if it resonates with you, that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're listening. As a psychologist, I believe stories like this matter. Not because they provide answers, but because they ask better questions. So as you listen, I invite you to do one thing. Don't judge your life. Don't compare. Don't panic. Just notice what stays with you. Because often the most important insights don't arrive loudly. They arrive quietly and ask to be taken seriously. Now I want to share what he told me, and I want you to listen, not as a spectator, but as a human being with limited time. Let me tell you something before we begin. What you're about to hear may make you uncomfortable, not because it's dramatic, but because it's honest. And the truths that change us are rarely loud. A man once sat across from me in my therapy office. He didn't look lost. He didn't look broken. He looked tired in a very specific way, the kind of tired that comes from understanding something too late. The first thing he said was, "If someone had told me this earlier, my life would have gone very differently." He was in his 70s, clear-minded, calm, not searching for answers, living with them. He told me he wasn't there because he was depressed. He came because clarity arrived when time was already limited. For most of his life, he believed what many people believe, that life has an order. First you sacrifice, then you live. First you endure, then you enjoy. First you survive, then someday you become free. He followed that path exactly as it was presented to him, and it nearly cost him his life. In his early 50s, on an ordinary workday, his heart failed. No warning, no symbolism, just a sudden collapse in the middle of a meeting that would not be remembered. He told me the most frightening part wasn't the thought of dying. It was realizing he didn't know why he had been living. Lying in a hospital bed removes all distractions. No roles, no deadlines, no identities to perform. Only you and the truth you've been avoiding. That's when he understood something that stayed with him forever. He had confused productivity with purpose, and motion with meaning. If his heart had stopped completely that day, the world would have continued. Meetings rescheduled, responsibilities reassigned. Life would have gone on without noticing much difference. And that realization broke something open inside him. He said the most dangerous lie people believe is simple. There's no rush. Time doesn't announce itself when it's leaving. It disappears quietly, while you're busy planning for later. He told himself he would slow down later. He would rest later. He would live fully later. Later never arrived. He began noticing the same pattern everywhere. In younger people, in ambitious people, in exhausted people who believed they were doing the right thing. They were chasing stability, approval, success, all with the promise that life would begin afterward. He said something that surprised even him. Success on its own is deeply unsatisfying. He achieved what he set out to achieve, and for a brief moment it felt good. Then the feeling faded. So he needed another goal, another milestone, another reason to feel worthy. Achievement became a cycle, not a destination. He described it as running endlessly without ever arriving. He told me about a close friend who worked relentlessly. Long hours, no real rest, always postponing joy for the next phase. The friend died suddenly. At the funeral, his adult child said quietly, "My father was successful, but I didn't really know him." That sentence stayed with him for years. Regret doesn't arrive as a dramatic collapse. It comes in quiet moments. At night, in memories of what was postponed. He doesn't regret failed business decisions. Those don't trouble him. What troubles him are the moments that never happened, the places he never went, the conversations he delayed, the people he didn't prioritize when he had the chance. He spoke about his father, about believing there would be time later to repair what was strained, to talk more, to understand each other better. His father died suddenly. No final conversation, no resolution, only the weight of everything that remained unsaid. After his heart attack, his life changed, not in dramatic gestures, but in quiet, consistent choices. He stepped back from what drained him. He began protecting his time. He started asking himself a simple question before saying yes to anything. Will this matter when time is short? He told me that what matters is not complicated. Time with people you love. Work that feels meaningful to you. Experiences instead of possessions. Presence instead of performance. When he was younger, he wouldn't have listened to this. He admitted that openly. He was too busy surviving the storm to see the pattern. Most people don't hear these truths until something forces them to stop. I asked him a question I often ask. If your life ended tomorrow, would you be satisfied with how you lived? Not impressed. Not admired. Satisfied. He paused for a long time. Then he said no. And after a moment he added, but I'm finally living like the answer matters. Now he wakes up aware of time, not afraid of it. Each day feels borrowed, and that makes it valuable. He notices what he once rushed past. Moments. Conversations. Silence. He watches younger people living under constant pressure, trying to earn their worth instead of experience it, believing rest must be deserved. He wishes they could see what he sees now. That's why I'm sharing this with you. Not to frighten you, but to interrupt you. Because time is passing whether you're ready or not. Relationships change. People age. Moments disappear. There is no pause button. If he could speak to his younger self, he would say this. Stop trying to impress people who won't be there at the end. Stop trading health for approval. Stop postponing joy. Stop waiting for permission. Call more often. Choose presence over productivity. Say no to what drains you. Say yes to what makes you feel alive. Start now. Life will never become simple enough to make courage comfortable. There will always be reasons to wait. But waiting does not protect you. It slowly takes your life without asking. He is happier now with less time ahead than he was when he believed time was endless. Because awareness changes how you live. I can't make choices for you, but I can tell you what I see again and again in my therapy room. The deepest pain is not failure. It's realizing you waited too long. So the question isn't what you'll do someday. The question is what you will stop postponing today. Because someday is not coming. It never was. Before you go, I want to speak to you directly. Not as a creator. Not as a voice in a video. But as a psychologist. If you're still here, it means something in this story touched you. And when something stays with us, it deserves attention. You don't need to change your entire life after one video. That's not how real growth works. What matters is awareness. The moment you notice yourself thinking differently, even slightly. If this conversation made you pause, if it brought up a memory, or a question you've been avoiding, that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're listening to yourself. On this channel, we don't chase quick motivation. We explore the things people usually avoid talking about. Time, regret, relationships, the pressure to live correctly instead of consciously. If those topics matter to you, I invite you to stay. By subscribing, you're not signing up for advice. You're choosing a space for reflection. A place where stories are shared carefully. Where psychological insight comes without judgment. Where complexity is respected. If you feel comfortable, you can support this channel in simple ways. You can press like, not for the algorithm, but to tell me this kind of content matters. You can share this video with someone you care about, not because they need fixing, but because meaningful conversations deserve to be passed on. You can leave a comment, even a short one, about what stayed with you. Sometimes naming a thought is the first step to understanding it. And if you decide to stay, you'll hear more stories like this. Stories from the therapy room. Reflections on life transitions. Conversations about what it actually means to live. Not perfectly, but honestly. Take care of yourself as you move on with your day. Notice how you use your time. Notice what you postpone. Notice what you protect. And remember, awareness is not a burden. It's the beginning of choice. Thank you for being here.